Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're totally flipping the script on an emotion we literally spend our entire lives running away from. We're talking about the worry biohack, redefining preemptive stress. So we're going to set the stage right now to completely rethink a feeling that is almost universally viewed as a massive negative force in our lives.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever been told to just stop worrying? I mean, we hear it all the time, right? It's the absolute universal advice from friends, family, pop psychology, you name it. But what if worrying was actually good for you? What if all that conventional wisdom is just entirely backward? Think about it. For the unconventional optimizer, what if worrying isn't a bug in the human system, but a vital feature? Today, we're looking at source material that completely challenges that standard advice to simply relax. We're going to see how harnessing worry can actually make you pretty much untouchable.
Moving right along to Section 1, Worry as a Biohack. It's time to take worry out of the therapist's chair and put it squarely into the engineer's toolkit. So, worry, when viewed as a preemptive biohack, is basically a necessary, high-leverage mental exercise. It utilizes preemptive, calculated stress to minimize future catastrophe. It's kind of like giving your brain a vaccine. You're intentionally introducing this small, totally safe dose of stress into your system right now to build immunity against a massive future crisis. You're essentially running mental stress tests to identify and mitigate potential threats before they ever even materialize. It's active, it's hyper-focused, and it is entirely about anticipating failure so you can systematically prevent it from happening.
But what happens if we don't do this? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the illusion of comfort.
See, when you avoid thinking about potential failure, you aren't really being positive. Actually, you're just falling for this illusion of comfort. You're choosing short-term cognitive ease over actual long-term security. The person who says, "Oh, I don't want to think about that right now," is really just leaning on hope. And as any good biohacker knows for sure, hope is a terrible substitute for a rigorously tested plan. It's a massive failure of critical foresight that literally delegates today's totally manageable stress to tomorrow's full-blown crisis. Now, what's really fascinating here is this stark contrast. You essentially have two paths. On one side, you have proactive risk mitigation. This means doing the hard work, worrying now to avert disaster. On the other side, compounding consequences. If you choose to just avoid the worry, future stress doesn't just disappear, it becomes exponentially larger. Because, let's be real, ignoring a problem doesn't freeze it in time, it just allows it to grow unchecked in the background. The small bit of worry you avoided today is practically guaranteed to compound into a massive, vastly more expensive crisis tomorrow.
So, how do we actually execute this in the real world? Let's look at Section 3, Engineering Your Redundancy. I want you to ask yourself right now, what is the worst-case scenario for my current wellness protocol, my financial plan, or my business strategy? And how can I build 3 layers of redundancy to prevent it? This right here is the core question of the true optimizer. It takes that abstract, kind of fuzzy feeling of worry and grounds it in immediate, actionable reality. You aren't just vaguely wondering if things are going to go wrong. You are actively engineering safety nets for exactly when and how they might. And here is the exact stress test process broken down. 1. Identify the worst-case scenario. 2. Build 3 layers of redundancy. And 3. Preload the solution. Picture a biohacker prepping for, say, a massive international travel day or a crazy intense work week. They don't just sit around and hope they won't get sick or get crushed by jet lag. No way. They run the stress test. If Plan A, which is maybe their ideal sleep schedule, fails, then Plan B, their specialized supplement stack, is already packed in their bag. And hey, if Plan B fails, Plan C is locked and loaded. They've built an absolutely bulletproof protocol. And that is the true power of preloading. You have to accept the discomfort of planning today, so you can effortlessly deploy those solutions tomorrow. By really digging into the data and identifying potential flaws right now, you are preloading the solutions directly into your system. So when that future stressful event finally shows up, you aren't panicking. The situation is either completely averted or it's just a totally manageable blip on the radar. Why? All because the solution is already loaded and ready to go.
Which builds perfectly into our final concept, Section 4, Active versus Passive Worry.
Look, not all stress is created equal. We have to draw a really hard line here. Passive anxiety, that's the bad kind of worry. It's that circular, non-actionable rumination over factors you literally cannot touch, stressing about the uncontrollable sky falling. It's the kind of anxiety that keeps you wide awake at 3 a.m. just staring at the ceiling. But active worry, that is a totally different beast.
That's focused, time-boxed cognitive effort dedicated to mapping out failure points and generating steps you can actually execute. It's what you do at 9 a.m. with a whiteboard and a strong cup of coffee. Passive anxiety completely paralyzes you, but active worry, that is the absolute engine of foresight.
And this brilliantly illustrates the entire philosophy of the unconventional optimizer. Embrace short-term, productive stress to guarantee long-term stability, resilience, and superior system design. By doing the hard, uncomfortable thinking right now, by utilizing active worry, you are essentially buying your future freedom. You're designing a life, and really a whole system, that can withstand pretty much anything the world decides to throw at it.
So, I'll leave you with this one provocative thought to chew on. What are you actively worrying about today to save yourself tomorrow? It's time to stop avoiding the hard questions under the guise of just staying positive. Seriously, embrace the worry biohack. Take control of the narrative, engineer your redundancies, and secure your future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.